Train to Busan, I'll start off with. And for one, it is a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of hype behind this movie. Like I've heard it came out in 2016. There's a ton of hype behind it. Everyone was always talking about it. I don't know why I never really watched it. Maybe just because like I don't know, I felt like the whole zombie thing was just kind of like been played out, especially with I don't know, like ever since like Walking Dead, like it just the zombie stuff just kind of blew up. And I don't know, it's just been kind of played out. Like the only zombies I've never been too big into zombie stuff. Rick, are you like into like zombie movies? Like in
Uh,
general?
yes and no. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole idea of zombies is pretty cool. I mean, there's so many different like incarnations of like how they are, what they come from, or whatever. But I think they're pretty cool for the most part.
Well, you know what, dude? And I was telling Sarah this when when we were watching Train to Busan. The one thing that I have, like one thing I take issue with when it comes to zombie movies is that in every single zombie movie, like when the outbreak occurs, everyone's surprised, right? Everyone's like, "What is like? Oh, what
Yeah.
is going on? Like, what is this?" It's like it's hard for me to believe that every zombie movies like universe, they've never had a zombie movie before.
No, and
Like,
that's
you know
the
what I
thing. Like
mean?
in our real life, like you'd almost expect it at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh shit, it's happening just like on TV.
Right, and that's like one thing, like, it's always been like it's a stupid nitpick, like, to really think about, but I was like, I don't know why, it just kinda dawned on me, like, 'cause I think I watched it last night, either last night or the night before, and, I don't know, that's just one thing that's always bothered me with zombie movies, because like,
Yeah.
you're telling me none of these people have ever seen or heard of a zombie before, like, you
Well, that's how they even like with The Walking Dead, that's how they make it out to be. It's just like, what is this? And it's like in
it's
our culture in real life, we would be like almost like, oh, finally it happened, you know?
right, it's like in Shaun of the Dead, they did do that, and, like, Shaun of
Yeah.
the Dead was good.
But
Like,
yeah,
not that none of these
like
other ones are good, like Train to Busan, like I said, it is a really good movie, so I'll get without any further ado, let me break down some of the things I liked and didn't like about it real quick,
get
alright?
into it.
So for one, it's not just like an average zombie movie because, like, it has a lot of heart, alright? Like, there's surprisingly a lot of heart, and it does a decent job of making you care about the main characters in the movie. More so with the main 2, like the guy and his daughter, which, you see right here, like, these guys here, this I don't know this gentleman's name.
He looks very surprised.
He does, but, like, all the performances are really good as well in this film. But it kind of focuses on them for the most part, and, like, they do a really good job of, like, really making you care about these 2.
Yeah.
And then my only, like kind of going along with, like, yes, it has a lot of heart and does a good job of, like, kind of fleshing out these 2 characters. The one thing I could have used more of is some of the other leads don't get as flushed out, and you don't have as much of a, I don't know, like, emotional connection to, because they just kind of appear and they're there, and, like, some of them have much larger roles than some other ones, like, because it's on a train, obviously, the whole movie takes place on a train,
That's weird.
and well, that's one of the things that, like, it actually, like, makes this movie stand out, like, from a lot of other zombie movies
Like
because
literally the entire movie takes place on a train.
yeah, for the most part, yeah, absolutely. So and that's the thing,
It's a
like,
sketchy train.
well, with it being on the train, it actually, like, allows, like, the filmmakers and allows you as a viewer to feel, like, a lot more tension because, you know, like
You
'cause,
can't
like
really escape.
yeah, like, one thing that's always cool about, like, just a lot of movies in general, I've always liked when it's, like, one location
Yeah.
because it's really hard to make, like, a 1.5 hour or 2 hour long movie in one location
Sure.
feel good. Like, a movie because it can get really boring and stale really quick. And this movie does not get boring or stale. Like they find ways to make this, you know, zombie outbreak on a train, you know, essentially being in one location. They find a lot of good ways to make it like unique and exciting throughout the entire film.
That's cool though that they can do that. I mean,
Yeah, it's really good. And like them being in that contained space it just lends itself to creating like just natural tension. Just being stuck in like a small because the thing, being stuck in a room is one thing, but this is a box essentially, like a very small, really like no bigger than this room we're in right now. But there's just a bunch of them in a train car, you know. So
that's sketchy as fuck.
it is really sketchy, and they do, like I said, they do a lot of good stuff, like with the zombies and like being like stuck in this train. Like, there's a lot of good stuff, so I definitely recommend watching. It's on Netflix, obviously, as the image dictates. So if you haven't seen it and don't mind subtitles, because like it is a Korean film, go watch it. It's really good. And if you've seen Parasite, one of the main leads in Parasite is also one of the leads in this film as well.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but with that, the one of the other things I kind of had not really an issue with, but it kind of goes like along with what I was saying before, where there's a lot of heart to it, and you get to know like the dad and his daughter. You get their story, you feel a connection with them, blah blah blah. One weird thing that like is might just maybe I need to watch it again, but one thing I noticed was that like there wasn't a lot of dialogue, like just in general. Like, and I know that sounds weird, and if you've seen the movie, you're probably like, "What?" But let me explain because it's like in scenes where like, despite the character development that we did have with these guys, because there's a lot of dialogue between, like, him and his daughter, like, and
Well,
stuff like
yeah,
that, like, leading
yeah.
up to the film, like, blah, blah. There is dialogue, but there's, like, a lot of the times, like, they just and this isn't necessarily, like, a bad thing by any means. I'm just saying that, like, I felt like there could have used a little bit it's not necessarily exposition dialogue I wanted, just some actual dialogue between, like, you and a person, like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Like, blah, blah. Like, there seemed to be, like, a lot of scenes where, like, something would occur like, let me give you a breakdown. Like, let's say someone like doesn't want to let people in because they might be infected, right? That
Sure.
classic, like they're gonna hold the door shut on you.
They're like
And yeah,
quarantining
they
you.
don't want you to come in because they know we're all safe on this side. And you got other people who we know as an audience are not infected or anything, but then there's people in the room they don't want them to go. Because there's like a couple scenes, for instance, in the movie where like obviously that happens, right?
Sure.
Like people who are trying to run away from zombies try to go to another train car, but the people in that train car are like, no, fuck that. I don't want anything to
Yeah,
do
like
with you. They're
we
like,
quarantining
yeah,
ourselves
yeah,
off.
get out of
Yeah.
here. While that's happening, like, you got someone literally right here in front of you holding a door shut, and then there's some, like, a group of people trying to get through. There's, like, a couple times where, like, they're not even, like, yelling at each other. Like, it's just, like, we're just holding the door. Like, there's sound effects. It's not, like, dead quiet like this is just happening. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of tension, and you know what's going on, but, like, there's no, like, "Oh, my goddamn door!" Like, "We're good." Like,
Yeah.
Do it." Like, there's, like sometimes there's none of that. Like, other times there is, and sometimes there's not. And, like, I just for whatever reason, it stood out to me where I was just like, "Why are they just, like, not talking?" Like, there's just, like, multiple times, like, just talk, like, use words. It's kinda like a movie trope that occurs a lot of times where, like, if you just had a simple conversation with them, probably a lot of these problems you're having wouldn't even be problems right now. Like, just have a quick conversation, and then maybe, just maybe, you won't have any issues here. So I mean, there's a couple scenes like that, but it's not any like a detractor from the movie by any means. There's just like a little nitpick that I had that I thought was like, why don't you guys just have a quick conversation and just kind of work through this real quick? So I mean, other than that though, I thought it was a pretty good film, and
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend everybody
I'm
going
gonna
out and
check it
watching
out.
it. So
Well,
you
it's on
should.
Netflix. I've got
It's on
Netflix,
Netflix
so
if you don't have, or if you have a Netflix subscription and you like. I mean, if you like zombie movies, definitely watch it because it's not just your stereotypical zombie movie. And one thing I will note too, they do a lot of interesting things, like not just with them being on the train. Like there's a lot of, like I said, like good tension and things that can kind of happen just with a zombie outbreak happening on a train. But they do some interesting things with the zombies. No spoilers or anything, but like the non-infected would learn something about the zombies, and they find unique ways to like kind of, I don't know, develop the lore with like how the zombies work and things they can and can't do, and they utilize the train itself to kind of benefit them and survive the zombie outbreak to some capacity. Because I don't want to
yeah.
spoil anything if you haven't seen it. Because surprisingly, a lot of people haven't seen this movie. So, because I mean, I hadn't seen it. So, definitely go watch it. It's really good though. They do a lot of good stuff with it, and some of the lore behind it was really good. Like I said too, you don't really learn why the zombies are there, but there is a sequel to the movie coming out. And I don't know how connected it's going to be. I think it's called like The Island or something. I forget what it's called, but it is set in the same universe as Train to Busan. So look forward to that coming out soon as well.
True.
And then the last thing probably too is it's not just like a Walking Dead walkers kind of zombies, like, they're more like 'cause this deals with zombies, like right when the outbreak occurs, so they still have flesh and like muscles and shit. So like they can
Yeah,
move.
they're not
Like
like
they run
rotting
fast.
corpses.
Like yeah,
Yeah,
they run fast, if not faster than a normal human kind of thing.
sure.
Which is one thing that like always is like annoying with like The Walking Dead. They're all just like decayed zombies and they're really slow and like
How does the muscle tissue like support their frame? It doesn't make sense.
well no, like I will say like The Walking Dead with the like withered ones like that, they don't move quick.
Well,
Like
like
if
your
they have a
joints would
decayed
be
leg, they're
decaying to the
not.
point where it's like, how can your brain physically, not to mention the equilibrium and balance it takes to even stand up straight? You know, like
Well,
to
that's
me,
why
that's
they
what I
don't
never
though.
really liked
They
about The
don't do
Walking
that
Dead.
though.
That's good though. I mean, like that's what I didn't like about The Walking Dead is you got these rotting
Well,
corpses
no,
that
even with The Walking Dead, like if someone's like leg was completely boned, then they would be like not running.
no,
You know what I mean? Like they would be like limping along, like
but if it was completely bone, real talk, like they wouldn't be standing up.
no. But I
Like
think
what? Where does their sense of balance and equilibrium come from? Their brains rotting.
oh, I
Like,
know. It's
sorry, I'm
well,
just
no, no,
getting
no.
into
I
like
agree, and that's like what you're
the deep
saying
shit.
is one of the things I really like. It's kind of like I said before with how do these people in zombie movies not ever have a zombie movie in their world? It's the same kind of concept. Like these dudes are literally rotting. How are they walking? It's like something. It's just kind of something you have to just accept. Kind of like with superheroes, you just kind of have to accept the fact that like there they are. They just
Yeah,
do it. They just that's them now. So you just kind of have to live with it.
sure.
So I don't know. All in all, though, it's good. You should definitely check it out. That was just a quick review of Train to Busan. It's on Netflix. If you've let me know if you've seen Train to Busan, in the comment section below. What did you think of it? And did you have a similar do you have the same like kind of concept that I do when it comes to zombie movies where like I don't know, does that stuff just bother you? The things that I said essentially. Like, cause I mean I like zombie movies, I've always liked them, but there's some things that are just kind of like boring with zombie movies, and I feel like Train to Busan did a really good job of making it like compelling and finding unique situations to actually like
The picture looks compelling. I mean,
well, it's good. All
yeah.
the actors were great too, like I said. So like, just definitely check it out and just let me know what you think of Train to Busan down in the comment section below.